Hi students, welcome to Alfo's e-learning chemistry classes for first year. The running chapter is stoichiometry and now we are in session number 43. In previous session we discussed about the titration. What is titration and how many types it is and how to conduct the titration experiments. All these we discussed. And now let us discuss on the phenomena that is happening during titration. Either it may be acid base titration or it may be redox titration. What are the chemical reactants relations? That is nothing but just titration we know already. It is nothing but to find the concentration of a substance, an unknown solution, with reference to a standard solution, nothing but with a known concentrated solution we are trying to get the concentration of the given solution for which we are not aware of the concentration, is it not? And now in this case, what are the relations during titrations we can observe during chemical reaction, and how to find, how to analyze, what are the numerical part that they may ask. All these let us discuss with simple examples, just because our scope is only NEET level, and you know in NEET level the questions are related 1 minute 1 bit. That means within 1 minute you have to solve the question, you have to bubble the circle, all these things should happen within 1 minute. That's why we need not go in depth of the subject, which is of required multiple steps, all that. But there is a scope for asking the question which are related to the concepts that are involved in titrations. That's why here I am giving the details of those concentration terms, how they are related in neutralizations. Clear? And now here let me give the concept neutralize titration. In titrations we are observing acid base titration because it is the best simple titration example. Acid base titration is the best example for simple titration, is it not? And thereby here in this titration, when acid reacts with base, from acid H plus and from base OH minus combine to give H2O. This is actually neutralization. Just you remember, this is neutralization. That is the combination of H plus from acid and OH minus from base. These two combination to give H2O is the exact neutralization. Clear? And now at neutralization point, here in titrations we are finding two types of phenomena. One is neutralization point and the other one is equivalent point. Again it is related to equivalent weights. Neutralization point and equivalent point. Okay, and now first let us know about this equivalent point. Equivalent point is nothing but, in case of acid base, just you remember, in case of acid base I am considering acid and base equivalent points. In case if it is redox reaction, you can consider the equivalent weights of oxidant and the equivalent weights of reductant. You need not worry about these reactants, that is the participants in the reaction. Depending on one of the reactant, say for example with acid we are not going to use oxidant, or with base we are not going to use the reductant, just acid with base and oxidant with reductant, is it not? And now at equivalent point is nothing but during titration, just you follow this. If you are thorough with this one, with this concept, if you are able to understand this concept in a correct manner, simply all the numericals related to concentration terms wherever they are appear in our other physical chapters, then you can easily solve the question. Clear? And during titration at end point, and now first let me explain this end point. End point is nothing but the acid and base, these two are equal in their concentration and volume terms. Actually the end point is nothing but the neutralization point. and that at that neutralization point or at that end point, what is happening is the number of equivalent weights of acid becomes equal to the number of equivalent weights of base. This is happening actually. So this point where the number of equivalent weights of acid becomes equal to the number of equivalent weights of base, that point is known as equivalent point. Clear? And now the number of equivalent, in case of acid base we are considering acid and base. If it is redox reaction, just I think you can easily incorporate the data. Here instead of acid we can consider oxidant or reductant, and instead of base we can use the reductant and oxidant. Is it not? So at end point is nothing but neutralization point. That neutralization point, what is happening is the number of equivalent weights of an acid is equal to the number of equivalent weights of base. And dear students, you remember it is always related only in equivalents and equivalents, not moles. 1 mole of acid can exactly neutralize 1 mole of base at end point is not the correct statement. Or the number of moles of acid at end point is equal to the number of moles of base is also not correct. Just at end point, that is at neutralization, we can find the relation only in terms of equivalent weights. Clear? And now first let me give the clarity, the difference between neutralization and equivalent point. The equivalent point is nothing but the state where the number of equivalent weights of acid is becoming equal to the number of equivalent weights of base. Clear? And now neutralization point. Here this equivalent point is equal to neutralization point only in case of strong acid and strong base. Just again I am repeating. And when it is given strong acid and strong base, a new term again. Just actually you will come across these terms in ionic equilibrium and you will learn in coming days, but for convenience sake first let me give simple, it is a simple logic. Just acids which are undergoing 100% dissociation to give all the H plus that present in it are considered as strong acids, and some acids are not able to go for such type of 100% dissociation. Instead they establish an equilibrium between the dissociated and undissociated molecules like this. In case if these 100 molecules of acid is present in the beginning, finally it becomes 0 and they are giving 100 H plus and 100 Cl minus. That is, all the H plus that present in the molecule will come out. Then it is strong acid. Clear? And now this is in the beginning 100 and these are 0, and at any time it never becomes 0. Only less than 100, that is 100 minus some x will give x and x. It never undergo 100% dissociation. For example, if out of 100 only 40 is undergoing dissociation, it will release 40 H plus and 40 CH3COO minus. And it is not at all possible to make it to go this type of 100% ionization. Then the acid is said to be weak acid. I think now you got the idea. The acids which are tend to go for 100% ionization are strong acids. They release all the H plus that present in their molecule. And the acids which never undergo 100% dissociation are said to be weak acids. Similarly, bases also. NaOH, for example, when it is kept in water, it will undergo 100% dissociation to release all the H plus present. In the beginning these are 0 and it is 0 and these are 100. And in such a case it is strong base. But some other bases like ammonium hydroxide, when it is kept in water, it never undergo 100% ionization. That means it never provide all the OH minus present in its molecule. and after some time it will dissociate, it will come to 60. That means these are forming 40-40, because when it is remaining 60, only 40 is undergoing dissociation. This type of bases are known as weak bases. I think now you got the idea related to strong acid, strong base, because that is playing very important role in distinguishing between these 2 points. Are you clear? So when any acid or base, when kept in water at any dilution, if it is providing all the H plus or OH minus present in their molecule, that means they undergo 100% ionization, then they are said to be strong acid, strong bases. If they are establishing an equilibrium, already you know, even in lower classes you learned that equilibrium reactions never go for end, they never go for completion. That means they are of establishing an equilibrium, means that is forward and backward directions are taking place continuously. The rate of forward reaction and the rate of backward reaction becomes equal, and thereby the reaction seem to be stopped. But actually it is not stopped. It is related to equilibrium. Okay, we will discuss in equilibrium chapter. But what you have to understand is, what is the difference between strong and weak acid or base? Strong is nothing but which undergo 100% ionization, and weak is nothing but which is not undergoing 100% ionization. Clear? And now just imagine the number of equivalents of acid is equal to number of equivalent base, that is equivalent point. That equivalent point is equal to neutral point only in case of strong acid and strong base. Why so? Because when we are taking strong acid HCl, it will release all these 100 H plus, and strong base 100 OH minus, all these. Now when it releases 100 H plus, when it releases 100 OH minus, these will become 0, and now these two will combine to give water. There is no more acid or base in this. But unlike this, if any of weak acid or weak base is taken, for example here with NaOH instead of HCl, if we are taking CH3COOH, 100 units is taken. But as per definition, being weak acid, it can release only 40 H plus, not 100 H plus. And NaOH being strong base, it can release 100 OH minus from 100 molecules. But acetic acid being weak, even though we are taking 100 molecules, 100 units, it is releasing only 40 H plus. And now this 100 OH minus and 40 H plus, these two are not equal in number, and thereby it is not undergoing neutralization perfectly. What does it mean? Just you remember, in case of strong acids and strong bases, the H plus and OH minus concentrations will be equal, and thereby it is neutralization. But if weak acid or weak base is involved, then equivalent points, that is the number of equivalent weights of acid and the number of equivalent weights of base taken may be same, but at neutralization, at end point, these two number are not equal. That's why the neutralization point is not equal to equivalent point in case of weak acids or weak bases when involved. Just you should keep in your mind, in case of strong acids and strong bases, the number of equivalent weights of acid is equal to number of equivalent weights of base at end point, that it itself is the neutralization point. But in case of weak acid or weak base when involved, the number of equivalent weights of acid is equal to number of equivalent weights of base. No doubt at all, it is equivalent point, but it is not the end point and it is not the neutralization point, because even though the number of equivalent weights of acids and bases are equal, they are not releasing the total H plus or OH minus for complete neutralization. That's why in case of weak acid and weak base, we have to see these two separately. Neutralization point is nothing but where all the H plus released from acid are completely neutralized by all the OH minus released from base. then only it is neutralization. And equivalent point is just irrespective of the H plus or OH minus that are released from these acids. If the number of equivalent weights of acid is equal to the number of equivalent weights of base, then it is sufficient to create or to say that these two are at equivalent point. Simply, in final statement, we can say that at equivalent point, strong acid and strong base reaches the neutralization. And in case of any weak acid or weak base involved in neutralization, then equivalent point is not reaching the neutralization. Neutralization is a different and equivalent point is different. Clear? And now with this conclusion, let us leave that weak acid weak base concept. We have to continue with the titration only with the strong acid and strong bases. And in case of strong acid and strong base, the neutralization point is nothing but equivalent point. That is nothing but where the number of equivalent weights of acid is equal to number of equivalent weights of base. And now the question is, in case if at neutralization this is happening, how to measure that number of equivalent weights? Actually, to measure the number of equivalent weights, we are having so many formulae. Of them, the important formulae are, one is when the concentration is given in terms of normality, then the number of equivalents is nothing but normality into volume. NV is nothing but number of equivalent weights, because normality is equal to number of gram equivalent weights by volume of solution in liters. So now this number of equivalent weights is nothing but number of equivalent weights is equal to normality into volume in liters. Is it not? And now our question is, in case if it is given in milliliters, what will be? Now normality is nothing but number of gram equivalent weights into 1000 by volume in ml. And with this one, number of equivalent weights is equal to number of gram equivalent weights is equal to normality into volume in ml by 1000. So these are the formulae when liters, when milliliters. Most frequently we are using this. So this number of equivalent weight from normality and volume in ml can be measured for acid as well as for base also. Whatever, if normality and volumes are given for acids, you can measure the number of equivalent weights of that acid. If normality and volume of base are given, then the number of equivalent weights of that base can be measured like this. And now one more formula to calculate the number of equivalent weights is from weight or mass. It is nothing but number of gram equivalent weights is equal to weight by gram equivalent weight. This is another formula. Weight of the substance by gram equivalent weight will give the number of gram equivalent weights. Is it not? So now when number of equivalent weights of acid is equal to number of equivalent weights of base, if normality and volume in liters is given, how to find? It is nothing but N1V1 is equal to N2V2. If you observe, this is nothing but law of neutralization in terms of normality. Already we studied about this. This is nothing but the law of neutralization. And here we need not balance the equation, because equivalent weights of the acid and base are equal at neutralization. So there we have to find the normality and volume. Is it not? And now in case if it is in volume may be taken in ml or in, because in both sides 1000 will present and thereby cancelled. So in terms of volume relations we can say like this. But sometimes they are providing acid weight in terms of grams. That is, weight is given and for base normality is given, or vice versa. Vice versa means this base weight will be given and volume and normality of acid will be given. Then what to do? For example, first let us consider weight in grams of acid is given. Then what is the number of equivalent weights of acid? How to measure it? It is nothing but weight of acid by gram equivalent weight of acid. This is nothing but number of equivalent weights of acid. Is it not? Just now we are writing number of equivalent weights of is equal to weight by gram equivalent weight. The same thing we are applying. Weight of acid is given. So weight by gram equivalent weight of that acid is nothing but number of gram equivalent weights of that acid. And this is equal to, and now for base what is given? Normality and volume is given. Then how to measure this number of gram equivalent weights of base? This is nothing but normality into volume in ml by 1000. Just you observe, when one of the component is given in weight and the other one in normality and volume, here we are considering this is weight is given for acid and normality volume is given for base. But you need not confine only in this method, in this measures. Sometimes the weight of the base is given. Then what to do? Weight of base by gram equivalent weight of base is equal to normality of acid into volume of acid in ml by 1000. Like that, when the weight of a component is given, just convert it into gram equivalent weight as weight of that substance by gram equivalent weight. And the other one is given normality and volume. Then number of gram equivalent weights of that component is nothing but normality into volume in ml. For strong acids and strong bases, at neutralization, the equivalent, that neutralization point is nothing but equivalent point. At that equivalent point, the number of equivalent weights of acid is equal to number of equivalent weights of base. And now already from the given data, we convert that weights or normality into number of equivalent weights like this. So at neutralization, we can use this formula. I think now you got the idea. One is N1V1 is equal to M2V2. Already in previous session, when molarity is given, we know the formula. Law of neutralization is nothing but M1V1 by N1 is equal to M2V2 by N2. It is in terms of molarity, and when molarity terms are taken, we have to balance the equation so as to get N1 N2 value. But in case of normality, we need not balance the equation because here the relation is number of equivalents. So when volume and normality of the acids and bases are given, this is the law of neutralization, and one is weight and the other one is normality is given, this is the law of neutralization. I think with this one, the same thing happened in case of oxidants and reductants also. Instead of acid you can take oxidant, instead of base you can take reductant, or vice versa. Like that, when one of the component is given in weight, one of the other component is given in normality, this is the formula related to neutralizations. Clear? In coming session, by taking these formulae one by one, let us solve one or two numericals related on each formula, and then one by one I will explain what is a simple titration explanation with examples, that is nothing but numerical examples, and then what is a double titration, what is the back titration. In double titration we are not going to solve any numerical, what are the concepts involved in the double titration, that's all. And then back titration and redox titration, we have to calculate some redox reactions, and for calculations are also involved. All these we will do in the coming session. Okay, thank you.